Welcome to On The Bit. I'm Dave from Dream Thoroughbreds, and with me is Lenny from Bluegrass Bloodstock. How are you, Lenny?
Good, Dave.
That's good, mate. Only one Group 1 feature this weekend, mate. It's at Randwick for the Wait for Age George Main Stakes over 1,600 metres. And who do you like in the George Main, mate?
Dave, I thought it was a very good field going through it, but I couldn't help but be taken by the run of Kermadec, who you picked last time, I think, in the Chelmsford. Fantastic run. When I was watching the tapes, he was wide with no cover, but just kept coming. Obviously, he's a Doncaster winner as a 3-year-old. He's drawn to get a beautiful run here, just off the speed behind Hooked.
Yep.
And I think this is a really high-class horse. Just looking at his last run, obviously to win a Doncaster as a 3-year-old, you have to be. And I think he could be a future Wait for Age star. And I think at $3, he's on the bit for me. So, Kermadec.
You know what, Lenny? I think it's hard to go past Kermadec, mate.
You were with him before.
Yeah,
so.
well, he's ridden upside down last start to try and suit the track bias, and he's just a horse that continues to improve through his prep as well. So again, he's back to 1,600 on a big track. He really looks the one to beat on Saturday. I thought he's, although he didn't win last start, I thought his run was first class, and he's probably even coming on as a potential Cox Plate chance further on into the spring.
Definitely.
Gets a change of rider. Bossy, not sure if Bossy got sacked or he just stayed in Melbourne for the rides, but Glenn Schofield goes on.
He was suspended, didn't he?
Oh, did he, Bossy?
Yeah,
oh, okay. So, but anyway, change of rider. It shouldn't really affect his chances. Should get the chocolates. He's $2.50, but I still think he's on the bit. In Melbourne, there's no Group 1, but we're going to feature and look at the Group 3 Naturalism. Well, it's changed its name.
Yeah, the Foundation Cup, Dave.
Yeah, but it's, we know it as the Naturalism, and that's the feature race of the day. And this is an interesting race and a good lead up for what's going on in the spring, in the future as well. Potential some cup horses going.
Yeah, definitely. I found it an interesting race. There's plenty of speed in it, so they should run along. I think that obviously. Looking at the race, the big watch is the Friedman Galloper, Ivanhoe.
Yeah.
He's a high-class horse from Germany.
Yeah.
Glue on shoes first time. I always worry about that, so it's a question mark for me. I prefer to watch him. He's obviously had a run in Adelaide, went well.
Yeah.
I suppose you just watch and see where the money is.
He won a trial a week ago.
Yeah. Watch the money, see how he's going. But for me, I'm going to go with Sartorius. He was 3 wide first up in the Memsey. I thought he finished off pretty well. He's only 2.85 lengths off him. Straight to 2,000 metres here, which I like. There's a bit of confidence there. Second up, he goes enormous. 6 or 7 starts he's been in the money. Won the Easter Cup at Caulfield over 2,000. From the 9 barrier, I think he's drawn to get a pretty good run. Just probably on the speed or just behind the speed. And at the $5.50, I want to be on him. So Sartorius for me.
You know what? I think you're looking at me.
Looking at your notes.
Tips, I think Sartorius again. Yeah, he's always a horse that gives a good run for your money. He runs well at Caulfield. He tends to run very well there. He's runs well at the distance as well. Very strong at the distance range, and he's very good early in his preps. He was 3 lengths away, as you said, last start in the Group 1 Memsey, which was probably a little bit unsuitable distance for him first up. And really couldn't get a run at him through the straight. He sort of wanted to get more room and get galloping, but he was sort of just running in behind them. It just looked like he had, get on me next start written all over him. Drops in class here to the Group 3 from the Group 1. Ryan Maloney rides him really well. I thought it was a top chance and probably really just an even bunch of horses at the moment. And $5.50 each way on the bit. Stable news, Lenny. You've had a lot going on this week with your horses that you've picked through the years.
Yeah, I had a good result on Wednesday. Dave, a horse that I spoke about a couple of weeks ago. That I said he'd probably go close to winning next start. So congratulations to Peter Gangemi and the boys in Perth. He was the only yearling I purchased 2 years ago from the Perth sales, and he's come out and won over 1,200. He's a Blackfriars horse, and the Morton stable has been sort of spruiking him and thinking he might be a sort of a derby horse down the track, hopefully. So, one to follow. So that was a good result for us.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got Malaguera running.
Malaguera running on Saturday in the 1478. So, and we've got Magnet running tomorrow, which should be exciting.
Yeah, Magnet. She was in on Wednesday at Pakenham on the turf track, but just felt that it was a slightly strong race to tip her into after a win last start. We wanted to give her an easier progression through to the city, and Mr. Individual ended up winning that race, and it looked a pretty strong race on form. So we picked out a fillies and mares benchmark 64 tomorrow at Ararat over 1100. She drew 15 and 15, but there's been 5 scratching so far, so hopefully there might be 1 or 2 more overnight, and she will run now. And Daniel Stackhouse will go on to her because Chrissy Parnham is not riding at Ararat tomorrow, so she looks a big chance. We think she'll go very close to winning again, and hopefully she'll be running in the city after that if she performs well tomorrow. Talented Miss, she runs at Pakenham on Saturday over 1600 in a maiden. She's backing up after about 10 days, but it's a pretty gross filly, so we think the backup will sort of suit her. Timely Girl, she's entered for Seymour on Tuesday and Sale on Thursday. Haven't really decided which one we'll go for, but she'll run next week. Wherever she runs, she'll be very hard to beat. She's knocking on the door. And Lomnac, disappointing actually on Sunday. We were hoping to see more from him, but what happens when you don't run well, mate, is you get sent off to get your nuts chopped off. So
two stone lighter.
That's right. So he's going off to get gelded, maybe even this week, or early next week. So he'll have a little bit of a break, and he'll be back sort of for the summer carnival. Best on breeding, Lenny. Who's your best on breeding this week, mate?
Best on breeding, Dave is Complacent, race 7, number 1. Beautifully bred galloper by the English Derby winner and authorised, out of a Quest for Fame mare in Insocience, I think her name is, who's a sister to the champion 2-year-old in Dracula.
Yep.
Family of a Guineas winner in Wangina, and Group 3 winner in Screen. So Complacent for me, best on breeding.
Value bets. I've gone Caulfield race 7, number 7, Tycoon Tara. He was up against Chautauqua last start at Moonee Valley. The speed was on in that race at Moonee Valley, and she couldn't really go the speed, and she sort of sat midfield in front of Chautauqua. He obviously gave her windburn, but she ran home, I thought, really strongly in that race, in an open race, and she's just a mare. So she's out to 1200 on Saturday. I think she'll sit a lot handier from where she was last start. The rail's out on Saturday at Caulfield, so I expect them to sort of be on pace, and I think she'll be hard to run down, even though some good fillies in that race, or mares in that race. I think her being sort of an on pace will be hard to run down. I thought the $9 each way was good value in a very even race, very strong race, but I thought it was good value. On the bit specials, Lenny, who are you on the bit with this week, mate?
Race 1, number 3 at Caulfield, Dave, and Bassett.
Yep.
Very, very nice 3-year-old. He's only had the 2 runs. Won his first run at Caulfield over the 1100, went straight to the front. Yep. And he beat a horse called Kinglight. Now Kinglight won at Flemington last week, and they're touting him as a future star. Yep. And this horse then went to Group 1 in Queensland and ran 5th. Was a really good run. I've watched a couple of his trials. Joshy Rodder put me onto the horse, watching his trials, and his trial in the house down. There is a short price favourite in a race called Keen Array. Hayes' horse, I think it is. It's won its last 2 by 8 lengths on the synthetic. Yeah. It's got to come onto the turf. It's had a couple of turf runs and not gone that well. But I'm keen to stick with Bassett. I think he's a very nice horse.
I thought they'd sold it to Hong Kong, but obviously they haven't just yet, Bassett. So
yeah,
it's been earmarked.
No. I went to inquire about Hong Kong last week, and no, he's Pete wasn't too keen to sell him. So that's a bit of a push. He wanted a lot of money for him.
Yeah,
so,
and I think he's probably worth a lot of money too. For me, it's Caulfield race 4, number 4, Sardage. This mare has a lot of upside, I think. She's out of the Hawks stable. She ran second at Moonee Valley last start, beaten by Churchill Dancer, who came out and won last week at Flemington. But she really got beat by the bias last start at Moonee Valley. She was flying home, a bit unlucky, got out very late. And with Churchill Dancer franking the form last week, that's obviously a good form line for her. She's up to 1400. I think she'll be a lot stronger over the 1400. She's a former New Zealander, this mare, who's only had one start here in Australia. I just think she can develop into a really nice mare to follow during the spring as well. She's $3 in the fixed odds market. I thought she was on the bit for mine. Off the bit, Lenny. We haven't been too good with a few of these the last few weeks, mate.
Last week was.
Some people might be actually getting on our off the bit lays.
Well, you can get on mine if it rains in Sydney, because it will be probably an on the bit. But I'm going that it's going to be off the bit because it's going to be dry, whether they get the rain or not. That's race 2, number 3 in Rudy. I think he'll drift come race day. He's pretty short at the moment, about 350. Nice horse, but really only performs on soft tracks. His last start was good, but as I said, on a soft track, on a good 3 rated track at the moment, I don't think he can win or even run a place, to be honest. So at that price, I'll be watching the weather. But yeah, if it's a good surface, just lay him, because he won't win.
I'm off the bit with Caulfield race 7, number 14, Veselay. She's opened up favourite again, this filly. There seems to always be a lot of money for this mare.
For it.
There is a spruik. She's backing up from last week where she got beat. Only got beat about a length in a good field over 1400, but she's back to 1200. I do think she is more of a sprinter than a miler, but I don't know. She could be slowly becoming a bit of a money muncher for me because of this spruik. So I don't want to be on her. Not as favourite again. So she's off the bit for mine. So good luck this week. Big week of racing next week, and we'll see you next week. See you later.